All right, man. So you got Richardson, Hitchens, and Gary Antuanne Russell getting into it, trying to build a fight. I mean, it's actually a good stylistic fight. I've seen clips of them in the amateurs, and Gary Antuanne Russell, like, he just had a really aggressive, wild style in the amateurs. Hitchens was a guy that liked to, boxer, like to keep at the end of the shots, and in the amateurs, he couldn't keep Gary Antuanne Russell off him for those short rounds with 3-4 rounds. But they got into a words, Gary Antuanne, trying to make a fight happen, said, I beat you 4-0 in the amateurs. You ain't trying to get your leg back, still, and, Richardson Hitchens was like, you living off the amateurs, get your name up. And that's kind of where it is, no unification, let me get your name up. Nobody care about that fight. I mean, the Russells, they don't mind coming to the Barclays Center. Pretty sure Hitchens don't mind coming to the Barclays Center, but that's going to be a tough fight. He struggled with that dude, Keyshawn Davis, Lamons. He struggled with that dude who brought that same style, similar to Gary Antuanne Russell. But I believe Russell is still fighting Andy Hiroka. So talk about putting the horse before the carriage. Hiroka's a really good fighter, really big Ghana/Japanese fighter. You know what I'm saying? He's a really good fighter. He's one of my favorite fighters, man. Like, don't sleep on this fight. Because if Gary Antuanne Russell, think he about to walk through Hiroka, he gonna get knocked out. I'll tell you that right now. He think he about to just walk through that kid, he gonna get knocked out. So he better, move his head, get his head off that line. That kid is rangy, he can punch. I mean, he the one who packed up Paw Paw. I mean, packed Paw Paw the fuck up. The one, Ismail Barros, the one that Rolly was trying, he packed him up. So I like Hiroka in that fight. I'm not a fan of Gary Antuanne Russell, cooning ass, both of these coon ass niggas, but just from a boxing standpoint of view, I think Hiroka gonna get the dub. And I could be wrong. Like I said before, I've been wrong before. People say, you was wrong about Devin. You was wrong about this here. Hey, cool. That's cool. I'm picking Gilberto Ramirez over David Benavidez too. So I don't really care much for boxing like I used to, man. So I'm not putting the effort that I used to put into the sport, man. I mean, shit, these niggas ain't putting the effort into the sport. But yeah, be honest, this would be a good fight. At the end of the day, Hitchens still kind of, struggle with that smothering style. I don't think he got enough power to keep Gary off of him. So you ain't got enough power to keep Gary off of him. Then you got to throw volume, and you got to be a good body puncher, and I don't see him throw enough volume. He be trying to load up on his shots a little bit too. He don't have enough volume to keep Gary off of him. He's just not a good enough boxer. When you get these type of dudes that really be in your kitchen like that, like Gary Antuanne Russell, the truth of the matter is you gotta stop them in their tracks. Or if you can't stop them with your punch, then you gotta stop them with combinations and angles. It ain't just angles and the jab. A lot of times you got guys that really, like, guys that don't respect your power, or regardless, they just gonna keep coming forward. It ain't just about the angles. You gotta throw combinations, man. You gotta throw combinations. And when you don't throw combinations, especially guys like Gary Antuanne Russell, that uppercut to the solar plex, the uppercut to the head, the hooks going around that guard, once he get on the inside and you ain't tied him up, you know what I'm saying? He gonna chop you down. So that's why, you can't just use a jab versus those guys. No matter how good your jab is, you got to follow up with 2, 3, 4 shots sometimes 2, sometimes 4, sometimes 3, sometimes one good shot. You got to keep them guessing. Angles and a jab ain't enough when you just know you fight somebody like a Marcos Maidana, Julio Cesar Chavez. They gonna close that gap. And even when you start talking about Chavez will show you angles, so that get a little tricky. Chavez, he'll spin you, he'll pivot, and he'll start to eat. So that's why it's important. You throw one shot, he slip it, he pivoted, boom, boom, boom. He throwing 3, 4, 5, 6 shots. Here you are throwing one shot. And regardless, in this era, if your one shot is effective, they gonna count to 4 or 5 ineffective shots. Even if because they looked effective, but they wasn't. So that's the thing about it. When you fight guys that like to close that gap, it's only so much tying up that you can do. So you gotta prepare. You might need to bring 2 or 3 jabs to the fight. A strong power jab, a peppering jab, you know what I'm saying? A flickering jab, you gotta bring more than a right hand. You know, really, you fight those guys, you got to bring hooks, lead, check hooks, right hands to the body, double jab. You know, you got to be creative. You know, that's kind of when I watched the Norman Jr. and Haney fight, he didn't force Haney to be creative. He didn't force Haney to be creative at all. Haney beat him with 1 or 2 shots. A jab, a right hand, and a check left hook. 3 shots. You know, I want to see these guys be forced to be creative. You know, and a lot of those guys who like don't throw a lot of punches, but they throw accurate, that's just a mimic of Money Mayweather. But when you fight a guy that forces you to be, you know, that close that gap, you know, this is how I know Norman respected Devin Power. He didn't continue to close that gap. When you fight a guy that closed that gap like that, you got to throw combination punches. You know, you got to throw combinations. And you can't throw them little arm shots that you throw that he just walked through. You know what I'm saying? You got to hold your ground and throw really good shots. And I would prescribe that you go to that body. You know what I'm saying? Especially, you know, you go to that body and that uppercut, pop, 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 you know what I'm saying? And turn them. But, you know, Hitchens, he don't hold his ground enough. Even when he fought Paro, was that Paro he took the belt from? He didn't really start, you know, him talking about Devin, why Devin ain't beating this guy. Nigga, you didn't beat up Paro. You didn't start beating him up to like the 9th, 10th round when it was there the whole fight. A lot of these American fighters, they scary, bro. I don't know if they don't believe in their conditioning. They don't believe in their tank. I mean, I hear Floyd, oh, you know, the game is the key is to take less punishment. You in a fucking punishment business. You in a punishment business. You not only should you gonna take some punishment, you must administer punishment. And to administer punishment, sometimes you gotta take it. No Diddy, no Kanye, no Kevin Spacey, no Harvey Weinstein. You know what I'm saying? You have to administer it. And too many of these young American fighters, they'd rather avoid the pressure than being the person that administrated it. You know, what did Michael Jordan say? He said, I didn't want to be getting beat up. He said, I didn't want to be taking pain. He said, I wanted to administer pain. And a lot of these guys, you know, they hearing Floyd say, man, you got to take something to get some sometimes. You in a hurt business. Y'all take all this punish, doing all these sparring rounds, you leaving your best version in there. So if y'all fought more, y'all taking more punishment and sparring than y'all should because y'all don't fight enough. When you don't take chances, then fans don't pay their money. This is what Floyd ain't telling y'all. You got to take chances. And when you don't take those chances, bro, like, it's just like, you know, what's the point? That's why we don't have any modern day big time classics. Motherfuckers pay $70, $100 for a card. When the last time you seen a real classic like that? Some shit that like you was like, man, that shit was memorable. You don't really see that. Sean and Earl and Keith and what was it? Pat, that was a good fight, but you talking about some, man, I never forget this night type shit. On some, not an upset or, we talking about on some legendary nice shit, man. Because these guys don't take chances no more, man. Floyd, you don't take no punishment. I mean, all right, man, go fucking do something else. Go write essays, go write poetry, go be Shakespeare. This is gladiator shit. People come and pay their attention and their time and their money to see great shit. You must take chances. And I ain't saying go out there and be a punching bag, but you got to take it to get it. You know what I'm saying? But you must administer pain. A lot of these guys don't administer it. They throwing shots and not committing to the shots. They throwing the shots and getting out the way before they even land the fucking shot. And that's what I see when I see Hitchens. I see that a lot with him. You talk all that shit, but you know, you jumping around like a bunny. You know, Devin, was it a lot more meat left on the bone for Norman? Absolutely, it was a lot of meat left on the bone. The fighters today are not creative enough, bro. You know, they got to get, but I get it. They feel like they got a lot to lose. They've been trained not to take punishment. But Sugar Ray Leonard understood that. Sugar Ray Robinson understood that. It comes to a point in time where you know, a lot of times y'all didn't went the distance or took losses or had disputed decisions because you didn't administer pain when you should have. You let the motherfucker off the hook. You know, that's what you can't say like about Gary Antuanne Russell. They ain't here for no decisions. They here to take what's there. They gonna keep trying. You know what I'm saying? They gonna keep trying. And with Hitchens, man, he just here, he just avoiding, he just an avoider. That's just what it is. He avoid conflict. He avoid confrontation. Like, dude, in the ring, man, step to these guys. If you got really good defense, that means you can get off and you can swim without getting wet. Rest in power to brother Nazim. A lot of y'all swimming, but y'all ain't going nowhere. Y'all swimming in place. Y'all look like me when I'm swimming. I thought I went to the end of the pool. Nigga, I'm in the same spot. And how do y'all, I'm swimming? Nah, nigga, you ain't even floating, nigga. You just in the same spot, kicking up, making waves and shit. Nigga think he Max B and shit. Think he the wave guy. Like, start administering pain, bro. A lot of these, I'm telling you, they be throwing shots and getting out the way before they even land a shot. Like, what kind of pussy shit is this? Like I said today, man, that's just all I had to say. But hey, I look forward to the fight if they fight. But Hiroka's a dog, man. I mean, go check out Andy Hiroka, who Antuanne Russell, I think, still fighting on the Joshua and Paul card. I mean, Antuanne Russell is big. I mean, that might be the best fight you see this year, to be honest with you. Honestly, that might be the best fight you see this year. Remember, I said that. Hit the link in the description. Follow me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch. Join the Patreon. Peace.